Using some chicken from a cookout I did the other day, we're going to make chicken a la king with herbed biscuits. This is actually pretty easy, pretty quick, and a real simple recipe. I hope you enjoy. I didn't get any footage of preparing the chicken for grilling, but it was basically McCormick's Grill Mate seasoning, some whole dried rosemary, cracked black pepper, and some poultry seasonings rubbed into the chicken really well, and then just thrown on the grill and smoked. Nothing fancy for the grill as long as it holds charcoal and wood chips to smoke. I'm using apple wood. There's our loaded grill. There's some corn with heavy cream and butter in the back, Baker's and sweet potatoes, New York. We've got a smoked eggplant, a pork tenderloin, and our chicken there. And dinner's pretty much ready now. We're going to let our chicken go a bit longer. There's our grilled chicken looking good. Here's the final grilled chicken, still sizzling. We'll let it cool for a while, and then I'll work that down. The breasts went to a lunch, and so there's the 2 thighs, legs, and wings. And that's all skinned and deboned and ready to work with. We'll start with the biscuits. I'm using a sweet wheat here. Got our baking powder, pinch of kosher salt, our baking soda, and then our marjoram and basil. Any soft leaf herbs would work here. Parsley would be good. And our coconut Crisco. I'm using coconut Crisco. Normally I use a regular Crisco, but I happen to have the coconut. It works really well here. And then work this with 2 forks until it's coarse and grainy. And then we'll move from this and start our a la king sauce when this is all ready. Got our red, yellow onions and celery chopped. Then we've got a nice hot pan, cold oil. A little bit of green pepper. And our baby portobellos. When we add these, we'll just let this cook until the mushrooms start to release their juice, about 5 minutes or so. I hit the chicken with a little poultry seasoning for a little extra flavor. And then a little tarragon and dried parsley. And then remove the chicken and veggies to a plate while we deglaze the pan with the sherry there. Work off the good bits with a spoon. Bring the heat up pretty good here to help this reduce. And then our heavy cream. A little chicken base in this, and then we'll go back to working on the biscuits. Add the buttermilk in here and then mix that in without overworking it. And then pat the dough out to about a 1/2 inch thick on a floured surface. Heat up our oil while we're cutting the biscuits out, so that's nice and hot and ready to go. I'll let the biscuits go on one side just short enough to brown them lightly. Flip them to the other side and then remove those to a baking pan to go in the toaster oven. And straight in there they go. Some pimentos to finish off our sauce at the end. And then we'll return everything to the skillet to bring it back up to heat. It's a good time to taste and adjust the seasonings too once this heats up. As you'll see, I needed to add a little more to it. I like to season it every step of the way. It makes a brighter, fuller flavor too. And then just a little dash of butter and our asparagus. I like to just get that going with the butter, and then I'll finish it off with a little bit of lime juice. And some soy sauce, and I'll let that reduce until it's almost gone to make a nice glaze for those. I'll keep tossing it. There's our biscuits all finished. And our final plate ready to serve. Time to enjoy. A couple of other pointers when you're making the biscuits. Don't overwork the dough. Just mix it. I use 2 forks instead of a pastry blender. Use 2 forks, mix in the lard, and then work in the liquid. After that, just a little flour on the board. Pat them out with your hand and then cut them out. Another hint on the biscuits is I use a spray bottle top. It's a nice little cutter. You always have one handy, and then it's one less gadget you have cluttering up your kitchen. When you're cutting the biscuits, cut straight down. Don't twist with the cutter. Pull it straight up and then pop the biscuit out. Makes them fluffier. Also, just sprinkle a little, like 2 tablespoons of flour on your cutting surface. Hand pat the dough. Don't overwork it. Cut your biscuits and then reform the scrap dough and cut out a few more. Something I didn't really catch until I got to the end of this was that I hadn't made a roux on the chicken and the vegetables like I would normally do. I would normally, as the onions and chicken were sauteing, I would throw some flour in there and then brown that up a little bit and then reduce my cream like I did. So instead I just added some flour at the end when I added all the vegetables back in. I didn't get any footage of that to show that addition, but just be aware that's how I made the roux there. I've changed up the biscuit recipe a bit since I first learned it. Originally it was a cast iron skillet heated in the oven, then you added your oil to that, added the biscuits, flipped them, and then finished cooking them for 10 minutes in the oven. I just like the idea of cooking it on the stove top in a skillet and then finishing them off in a toaster oven. It seemed a lot easier and it seemed a lot more efficient to me than warming up an oven just for biscuits. So try it either way. So there we are, chicken a la king with the herbed biscuits. I hope you give it a shot. I hope you enjoy it. I had a great time making it. I got a lot of comments on it. And as always, if you would like, leave some comments down below. Contact me at cdsesp@gmail.com. And if you really liked it, please share on social media. See you next time. The a la king here, meaning to the king's taste, refers to a dish of diced food, usually chicken or turkey, in a rich cream sauce with mushrooms, green peppers, and pimentos, like these. I'm done.